What is this, man? I have done same thing in JavaScript, but now it is not working in TypeScript. Why so? This is really frustrating. I have tried for 2 hours to solve this error, but it is not getting solved. I don't know what is happening. This TypeScript thing is driving me crazy. I swear I'm gonna throw this laptop right now. Hey, what are you doing with the laptop, man? Chill. Bro, I am fed up with this TypeScript nonsense. In JavaScript, request.user equals to user works really fine. But here in TypeScript, error after error. I thought choosing TypeScript would make my project better. But it's just pain. This one. I faced the exact same thing when I was working on authentication middleware. I was also attaching the logged in user to request.user and the TypeScript started shouting at me. Trust me, I get your frustration. It literally took me 2 days to figure it out. Come, let me show exactly how to solve this problem step by step. Let's first understand what are we trying to do when we write request.user equals to user. Basically, after a user logs in, we want to attach the authenticated user to every request so that in any route, we can simply do request.user and we will get user details. Correct, but TypeScript is strict. It does not allow you to just throw new properties into any object that it already knows about. See, TypeScript is complaining because in its dictionary, the request object does not have a property called as user. It's like you are trying to add a new room in a house without updating the blueprint. So the builder will obviously shout at you that, hey, but this room does not exist in blueprint. Then how can you add this? That's where .d.ts file comes in. By default, Express has its own index.d.ts file which defines what's inside request, response, etc. But the cool part is we can update this blueprint using something called as module augmentation. Let's see how we can do this. So to solve this error, what we need to do is create a new .d.ts file. It's like creating a new room in the blueprint which will tell the TypeScript that from now on for this project there will exist or can exist a new property which will be called user in the request object. The first step is we need to create a .d.ts file. So let's go to type folder if you have one, or you can create it. We have a type folder in our project which is inside our server. So inside the type folder we have to create a new file. We will name this as express.d.ts. So after that, inside the newly created file, inside the file that we have just created, we have to create an interface. So why to create an interface here? So this is basically to declare a custom user type which is going to be our definition that how the user will look like inside request object. So creating an interface, we have to first write the interface keyword. So interface, and we can name the interface as something user auth type. Okay, because we are assigning user property to the request object, and basically it is going to be for authentication. So user auth type. Now our user auth type is going to be an object inside which we will have some parameters. The first parameter that we need is ID. So the first parameter inside our user auth interface is going to be an ID of each user, which is going to be a string. And after that, the second parameter inside our interface will be name. It is also of type, it will be also of type string. Now So now after creating the interface, nothing will change. So see, the error still exists. We need to add this interface that we have just created in the request object. Now one more thing, we can also declare this type globally for this project. So how to declare it globally? So to declare this type globally in this project, what we can do is we can write something like declare global curly braces. So this is like saying, hey TypeScript, I am about to add something new that should be recognized everywhere in this project, not just on this file, not just this express.d.ts file. Now we have to reach to Express. So for that we can write something like name space Express. See, Express already have a bunch of type definitions. By using name space Express, we are reaching into Express world and saying to Express that I want to extend what you already know. That is, we want to extend the request object inside the Express, and we want to add a new property called as user. Inside the Express we have a request object, and in its blueprint we want to add a new property called as user, and we will put a question mark here because user is going to be an optional. It can be there, it cannot be there. The user can exist in the request object or cannot exist, so optional. And we are saying that if it's there, it should or it must follow the user type blueprint that we have defined or created earlier. Now let's try to understand it clearly. Think of request like a house that is already built. By default, request object is like a house with a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom. But now we say, hey, we also want to add a study room there. That new study room is our request.user, the user property. So that we just defined here. So whenever we write request.user, the TypeScript won't yell at us because the blueprint has been updated. So we are just updating the blueprint here. No, we are not changing anything in the original or official TypeScript. We are just updating the TypeScript blueprint for this specific project. So every time we are building an Express server using TypeScript and we want user property inside request object, we need to update the blueprint every time like this. Okay, till now we have only defined our file, but we have not told the TypeScript to use this file and update the blueprint according to instructions written in this file. So to do that, to tell the TypeScript that use express.d.ts file that we just created inside our types folder, we need to go to file named as tsconfig.json. So here, this file, this one. Now inside it, want to include all the .ts file inside files inside this project. Include all the files inside this project and inside source folder, and there can be any subfolders after that, and go through any subfolders if they are inside source, inside the src folder, and after that include any file with any name which has extension as .ts. But see, our file name is express.d.ts. So we will also tell that also include file with .d.ts extension, which is inside our types folder. So types, if there is any subfolder, then go through that also, go inside that folder also, a file with any name and with extension .d.ts, and we have to just put a comma here. But we have not done yet. By default, TypeScript is considering this file as a script only. The compiler might not merge our global declaration properly. Global declaration which we have just defined here properly. So in order to tell the TypeScript to merge our global declaration into the object, we need to convert this file to module. So to convert it to module, we have to just put export and an empty object. So this will convert this file into a module. So now TypeScript will treat this file as a module and it will merge our global declaration. Okay, now see here, it is saying that type id number and name. Id is of type number and name is of type string is not assignable to type user auth. The user that we are getting here is of id number. So it looks like you have defined your user id as number, but here we are defining it as the string. So let me change it and save it. So after saving this, as you can see, now the error is gone. And everything looks good. But is our problem solved? Let's run the server. Let's rerun the server. We got an error. Property user does not exist on type request. The same error that we had here. So see, it is throwing error when it is getting compiled or when we are running our server. So let's understand it clearly. What is going on here? By default, TypeScript only looks inside node modules for type definition. And if we look at our tsconfig.json, here also we are saying that type roots inside node modules @types. We are checking for types. If we check, so here, as we can see, there is a @types folder where all the types is defined. So if we check for the request, okay, inside Express there will be a request type also. If we go inside this and if we search for request here, see, we have a request. Okay, request type, and so this is the request interface, the blueprint where we want to add our user property. So inside this, if we search user here, we are not getting anything. Nothing is here. So it means that user is not defined. And we have also look at the express object. There is also no request type definition. We have also checked the request type definition, interface request, and here there is no defined anything like user property is defined. So, and by default, TypeScript only looks inside this for the type definitions. But our custom.d.ts file is inside source/types, which is here. But our custom.d.ts file is inside source and after that inside the types folder. So in order to tell the TypeScript to also look into the types folder, which is inside the src folder, we have to write something like this. Inside this project, also look for source folder and after that types folder. So now for type definitions, TypeScript will also look inside source/types folder along with the node module/types. So if we save it,